Hello everyone, good evening, good morning if you're waking up. I am your host Grace Kipasa of the show In Between, and I am excited to have this special guest here with me. I've always promised you guys the best, so therefore I'm here to introduce one of the best amongst our generation. Not only is he a pastor, he's also a worshiper. He has one album out. He's also an author. There's so many talents that is so filled within him. I just can't describe it. So I'll let him do his own introduction. I don't want to mess it up. We honor men of God, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me Pastor Lord Lombo. Pastor Lord, how are you?
Hey, Grace.
Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. We are so humbled to have you here in the setup In Between. It is not every day that we get a chance to sit down with such a, what later I'm sure in the next 5 to 10 years we're going to be calling you an icon for our generation. You've blessed us so much. You've blessed me personally so much through your music, through your preaching. You know I'm a fan. But you've blessed so many people. I've heard so many testimonies about you. But today we want to know, who is Pastor Lord? What is Pastor Lord about? And what hurts Pastor Lord?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to share it all.
Okay, great. So Pastor Lord, tell me, what are you working on right now? I know right now you have an album that's out with a very popular song called Emmanuel, which is spelled differently with an I. I wanted to understand first, why the I in Emmanuel?
Okay. The I is the Hebrew version of the word. You know, in Hebrew it's I, M, M, and then the rest.
Right.
In French it's E, M, M.
Okay.
So I wanted it to be in English, to be in Hebrew,
Okay.
to be original, because I know many artists, many authors, many pastors have preached, have written songs. Emmanuel with an E.
Right.
So I wanted it with an I.
Right.
Just for originality.
But the inspiration behind Emmanuel, where were you sitting at? What were you thinking? What happened when this fell into your spirit? When this song that is so powerful all around the world, what happened?
I've heard many versions. People have translated the songs in many, many languages, and I'm so blessed.
Right.
Okay, so I was in my bedroom. It was on a Monday morning, I guess.
Right.
I just woke up and I was reading the Bible.
Okay.
It was near Christmas time, and I was reading Isaiah chapter, I forgot the chapter.
Right.
But it was talking about Emmanuel, actually.
Okay.
It was talking about the virgin that will give birth to a son that will be called Emmanuel. And when I was reading, I heard in my spirit, I don't know if it's angels or if it's God himself, but I heard voices singing, Emmanuel.
Really?
Yeah. So I just recorded it. I was singing with them, and I recorded it on my phone, and I started writing other verses of the song. And I called a friend of mine, we recorded it, the first version of the song, and after we did the second one.
Oh, but it is, when I say a tremendous blessing, it is a tremendous blessing. The scenery of even the video, I believe you even have your younger brother in the video as well, which was such a nice touch. It was a good introduction.
Thank you.
But whenever you look at the scenery and you hear the song Emmanuel, it's as if, I call it a Thalia praise, where there's like a room full of 10,000 people and you can just hear them sing. Is that what was falling down in your spirit?
Exactly. And the secret behind that song is the simplicity of it.
Yes.
It's not complicated. There is no many verses, many words to remember. The lyrics is not heavy. It's just few words. And Emmanuel, it's just a word. You know, we're just coming back to that, back and back and back. We're singing that. It's simple. Easy to catch, easy to understand, easy to memorize, and it has been a blessing even for kids, babies.
I see that. I do follow you on your Instagram, so I do see a lot of videos that you do post. But Pastor Lord Lombo, Emmanuel, the album, and the book Le Ténèbre de Dieu, which is a book that blessed many, including I, which is called The Darkness of God. There's always a specialty with the things that you come up with. Why so? Emmanuel with the I, Le Ténèbre de Dieu, which is like the darkness of God. Wait, God is supposed to be light.
I know.
There's always a specialty with the things that you come up with. Where does it come from?
I think it's inspiration, right? The Holy Spirit puts in my mind, puts it in my spirit, deposits in my spirit a seed, and I just, you know, take it and develop. I think it all comes down to inspiration. For me, Les Ténèbres de Dieu, Emmanuel, and many other surprises.
Contradictions.
I like a little bit of contradiction
sometimes. Right.
Because I believe if you want to catch the attention of people,
right,
you have to come up with something very catchy.
Right. Very catchy.
That's the word.
Yeah.
So in the marketing, mind,
right,
I try to find something that when somebody looks at it,
it catches it,
and it gives him the will to dig and to know more
about what's going on.
Yeah, and you know that best, right?
Right.
So.
But Pastor Lord, for such, I would say young, not because young, but for such a young man of God, who's as accomplished as much as if you're accomplished. There's many people out there who probably might have a feeling that it has been given to you, or it was handed to you, or your success is just so easy, or like I like to say, you happen to be one of God's favorites. Where he just gives things and the fame and was it always this easy for you?
Oh no, it was very difficult.
Really?
It was super complicated.
Okay.
The process was not easy, but when the process is not easy, if you want to keep on, just think about the results. If you can picture the result and where you want to be, I think you will be more determined, and even if things may get hard, you will have the will to keep on going. So me, I grew up in a special context.
Okay.
First of all, my mother didn't really want me to be born at that period. Right. She didn't want to get pregnant, actually.
Okay.
So, yeah, so my father and my dad decided not to have children anymore.
Oh wow!
For a period of time,
right,
because my father wanted my mother to go back to school and get her bachelor.
Right.
Yeah. When she got married, she only had an associate degree. She didn't have a bachelor degree.
Okay.
So my father wanted her to study, and my mom wanted to study too.
Right.
But then things happened, and,
right,
and my mother found herself pregnant.
Right.
And it was really, really, really a big fight with my father. They fought a lot about it. Oh, why? Why did you do that? Well, I guess. A stupid fight, because for me really because they made me happen, they made me come, you know?
Right.
So I was born in a special context.
Yeah.
My mother left the house, and because she didn't want to have a child at that time.
Right.
But yeah, after they reconnected, and then she came back, and then I was born, and I was very shy.
Shy.
Very, very shy.
No way.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and I'm still shy. Don't you think?
Yes,
so?
you are. Yeah. No, I'm saying, but with everything that you accomplished, I'm like, you standing on a stage full of. I've heard that you filled up stadium more than 15,000 people have came before, out of a shy kid. It's difficult.
It changed a lot. I think the Holy Spirit. There is me under the stage.
Okay.
On stage, and there's me. You know, not just the natural me.
Okay.
I think it's two different people.
Okay.
When the anointing comes on me,
it's another person.
I'm another person.
So
yeah, but yeah, I have some difficulty of speaking.
Oh really?
Yeah, that was one of my biggest weaknesses when I was a kid.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I couldn't speak. So when God told me that I'm calling you to teach and preach the word of God to the nations, I was like, well, you might be kidding, because I can't even speak.
Right.
Yeah, I can't even say a whole sentence
without stuttering.
Exactly.
Who could have known that? Oh my goodness. So before we continue, Pastor Lord, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, because the pastor said this thing that he wasn't even he wasn't even supposed to be born. He wasn't even supposed to be conceived. That is something that I didn't even know. But we'll be right back after these messages, and we'll come back and we'll find out why is Pastor Lord who Pastor Lord is. We'll be back. And we're back, still here with Pastor Lord Lombo, finding out things that I could not imagine. How does a pastor who writes books, sings, writes songs, used to stutter when he was a young child. That is, I would have never imagined.
Oh, yeah.
How did you get about that, Pastor Lloyd?
Well, I mean, it was just miraculous, I thank God. When he called me, and then I started preaching, the more I was doing it, the more I was healed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and when I was because I started preaching, I was 10.
Okay.
I was a baby. And it was when I turned 12 that it almost completely disappeared.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But Pastor Lord, let's talk about your name first. Because I want to go back to such a touching story, the fact that I didn't know that you weren't even supposed to be here. But God had a plan for you. But your whole entire name is My Glory, which is My Glory, Lord, Lombo.
Yeah.
So, who gave you the name?
My father.
Oh, wow.
He told me a story. He said that before I came to this world, when they found out that my mother was pregnant, so he started praying for the kid. My father is a pastor, so they couldn't abort. He doesn't believe in
abortion, right?
Yeah. So he was praying and say, "Well, God, this kid is special. We did everything we could so that he cannot come to the world right now.
Right.
Then tell me, how do you want me to call him?" So he asked God in prayer.
Oh, wow.
And one day God responded to him and told him, "Lord is my glory."
Oh,
so that's my first name. It's a whole sentence.
Lord is my glory.
Lord is my glory.
Oh,
that's why some people call me Lord, and some other call me my glory or ma gloire in French.
Right.
Yeah, so that's part of the sentence. Yeah.
My goodness. So as you were growing up, I'm sure you were teased a lot.
A lot. They made fun of me a lot.
What did they make fun of you for? The stuttering or what else?
Yeah, that one first.
Yeah.
And also because I was shy.
Okay.
And I used to fear, especially women, a lot. I'm telling you.
What?
When they step in a place, I step out.
Really?
Yeah, I was super shy.
Goodness.
And they teased me a lot about it. But on the other side, God gave me another gift. I was very intelligent.
Right.
At school.
Right.
So that put a balance
on it.
Yeah.
Because I heard you wanted to be a doctor first.
Yeah, and I even started medical school.
I heard. And how did that go for you?
Well, when I started my first year, I went up to the 5 years on medicine. But then God told me that I needed to stop.
Wow.
Because he didn't call me to be a physician. And he told me, "I'm going to open a door for you in a couple of months. But obey first, trust me, stop right now, and I'll tell you what next."
And you trusted God?
I trusted God.
What would your parents said when you were going to school for medical school? They were expecting you to be a doctor. What was your parents, what was your mother, your dad, or your mom's expectation when you decided to just stop medical school?
My dad thought that I was a fool. And so he called all the family in a big meeting, and they were all thinking that maybe I got mad.
Your mind.
I lost my mind. My big brother, the firstborn of the family, told my father that I know Lord, and he's not a fool. And if he says God told him, well, let's trust him, let's trust God, and see how it goes. We give him a year. If nothing is changing, we're going to come back to his decision and see what we can do. So 2 months later, they called me, my pastor called me, said, "Hey, I have this opportunity for the US to go study theology and leadership. Are you interested?" So I was like, "Oh, God told me in a couple of months I will open a door."
Right.
So I told my pastor, "Well, let me think about it and come back to you." So a few weeks later, I went back to him and told him, "I think that may be an opportunity for me." That's how I got the visa to come here. I studied here in America, in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
And I finished my bachelor in leadership and administration and theology.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you had to trust God.
I had to trust him.
Despite the fact that you're a child of a pastor. So it's supposed to be a quick bait when you say, "Dad, God said I have to do this." But then he's looking at you like, "No."
Yeah, you know why?
What?
He didn't really believe at first because revelation is personal.
Right.
Your dad may be a pastor,
yes,
but when God speaks to you, he speaks to you.
Okay.
And all the other people around may think that you're a fool, but just give it time.
Right.
They will understand with time.
But and I hate to touch on this, I'm sure that as growing up, it was a bit also difficult for you because I know that you encounter a great loss in your life, the loss of your mother who so dearly fought for you to come to life and to be to a point where she decided to walk away from her marriage. How did you deal with, now that your success, your people you're being called all around the world and we're seeing you on podiums, how do you deal with that loss? Because it never gets easy.
That was my biggest loss, actually, in my entire life. And because I was very close to my mom, very close. You know, all kids generally are close to their moms, but there was a special connection between her and me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was very difficult when she passed away. I was 9, so I was a kid, and I stopped believing in God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I said to myself, actually there's a song that I'm going to release maybe in a few months that is telling a little bit about that story. I stopped believing in God. I say, well, God does not exist, because if he existed, the way my mom served God, no, she will still be here in this world.
Oh, wow.
I really became an atheist. For me, I was even saying to people, well, you know what, God does not exist. It's just a bunch of lies and, you know. But then God spoke to me personally. He revealed himself to me. That's how I came back to the right path and the right way. Now, every time people clap their hands for me, every time people celebrate me, every time I do this or that and I'm supposedly successful, my biggest regret is that I would have loved my mom to be here, because she's the one who deposited all that in me. If I knew Christ, it was because of her. If I started serving the Lord, even when I was a child, it was because of her, her example. She was a singer too. And one of the reasons why I sing is to honor her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So, Pastor Lauren, we will take a quick break, but before we take this break, I wanted to ask you a question. All these difficulties that you encounter, a lot of people out there, they don't see this. This is I don't know if you've done an interview like this before.
No, it's my first
This is your first
so personal.
So personal that you expose. But when people see, they see the finished product. They don't really see the pain that led to this, the story behind this, a child that wasn't even supposed to born. Where do you stand right now when it comes to the fact that I am what I am today because of the grace of God? I am what I am today. But then there's also people who come and attack your ministry. They attack you as a person, even your family. How do you deal with that? But before you answer that, we will take a quick break. We'll be right back. You guys heard it here first. The pastor himself said, I didn't say it. We got an exclusive inside with Pastor Lord Lombo. We'll be right back.
Jesus said we are the light of the world. So let your light so shine. One Word TV, let your light shine.
And we're back here with Pastor Lord still, and we're discussing some of the difficulties that you encounter when people attack you personally without knowing that the road in which you climb upon, without knowing the things that you've been through. How do you react to such negative energy like that?
To be honest, sometimes I do pay attention to that, because I like to hear even the negative comments, negative people, what they think, why they do this, because sometimes it reveals me many things about human beings and about me too. You know, haters will always be there. Somebody said haters will hate. So, but I take all that negativity and I turn it into something positive. It gives me even more energy, more hunger. When I see how many people want me to fail, I work twice hard because I want to success. I want to succeed. See, so I don't take that as a negative thing, but as a stepping stone to bring me even higher.
Oh, where you are.
Oh yeah, that's how I look at it. And those people, as many as they can be, they are sometimes important.
To help you. To
help you push even harder.
Oh, wow. So that's your take on it.
Yeah.
But Pastor Lord, you have the album. The name of the album itself is Emmanuel. Emmanuel with the I.
With an I, yeah.
You had the book that came out Le ténèbre de Dieu, the darkness of God. So not only, you're also a preacher.
Yeah.
Actually, among the best that I believe in our generation.
Thank you.
So I told you about, there was a preaching that you did about Vashti. It was one of the preaching that I've listened to. It spoke to me and my character a lot. But you're a preacher. You're a worshiper. I wouldn't say a singer, because singer makes it so, but you're a worshiper, because this is what you do for God. You're also an author. Do you cook?
No, I'm a very bad cook.
Because I'm trying to see, what are the other talents, what are other things that you do besides singing, writing, and of course being a preacher?
Many other things. Yeah. I organize conferences.
Okay.
A businessman. I'm a coach. I'm a businessman, like you say. Yeah, I think I'm plural. I've
seen a quote that you wrote on social media, and I'll try not to mess it up because it's in French. Okay. You said something about, if God gives you 5 talents, make sure, you say it in French because I don't know how, I forget how you say it.
In French I said, quand Dieu te donne 5 talents, ne meurs pas en ayant exploité que 2.
Right, make sure that you
maximize
and you use all of your talents.
Exactly.
So for someone in your posture, there is great men of God. Yeah. There is great worshiper. Do you see yourself as, oh, I'm so young, you know, I'm young, or do you see yourself as if God gave me this, I'm gonna push forward? You don't look at your age, I'm sure.
No, I don't look at my age. Age is not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Yeah.
The fact that you lost such a great loss, that's not either.
It's not an excuse.
So for you, what is an excuse?
There is no excuse.
Good.
For me, everything that comes to you, every negative things that may come to your way, we gotta learn how to turn it into positive things, energies. Right. All those things, they build something in us, and they made you what you are. So you need to take it as, like I say, stepping stones to go even higher in your life, to do even greater in your life. I don't have any excuse. I work hard. I work very hard. The grace of God is there, but I'm a worker too, and that's why I have the results that I have.
I see.
Yeah.
So you do have, what are your next projects? What are the next thing that is coming? What are we expecting from Pastor? Because we know Pastor Lord the preacher. We've seen so many preachings on your YouTube, and there's still more that keeps rolling. And we have the album Emmanuel that is out, and some great singles that's also been produced. What are you working on right now?
I'd like to tell you something. I'd like to become an actor, actually.
Really?
Yeah. In the movies, you know. Yeah, produce movies like TD Jakes.
Really? Will you want to act in it, or you just want to produce it?
I want to act in it too.
Really?
Yeah.
If there's a movie you had to act, what would be the first title? Because I know you. I'm sure you've written a script or something. What would be a title of your next movie?
I think will be about my journey.
Oh wow!
My life, you know, the process and my story, basically.
Should we be expecting it? Is this a project that's being worked on?
Not really, to be honest. It's still in my mind.
In the mind, okay.
Yeah, like the album was in my mind.
Right.
But I've come to learn how to trust in the things, the ideas that are put inside of me.
Nice.
Generally, it gives me ideas.
Okay.
And when the idea becomes mature, they grow enough, and then it brings the means and all the money that I need to realize it.
Oh, wow.
So I'm still working on my ideas,
right.
And when the time will come, God will open doors.
Right. I'm glad. I didn't know that you were thinking about movies. Yeah. I love movies too, so we should talk about this probably after this. But Pastor Lord, so now where you are, we have the album. I'm sure, are you planning another album, another book? What's coming next with you right now?
This year, on the day of my birthday, I want to release a book.
Okay.
I'd like to release a book. The title is 30.
Oh, wow.
Because I'll be turning 30. So.
You told them.
I told them. Well, I'm not ashamed of it.
Right.
So the title is 30.
Yeah.
30 biggest lessons that I have learned in my life so far.
Wow.
I want to share what I've learned. 30 biggest lessons that I've learned in my life. May
I request an exclusive interview first here on In Between about this book before it's released?
You got it. I'll give it to you.
Well, thank you so much. But Pastor Lord, I have so many questions for you. I have so many things I want to find out. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have questions for you as well out there, and they want to find out so many things. But I'm hoping that we can invite you next time in our next show wherever to talk about different other things. But as of today, what is it that you can tell that young man who is growing up, maybe without a father, maybe without a mother, who has been given a gift, or the Lord has placed something in them, who was stuttering, who was shy, afraid of women? What is it that you can say to them that you've been through in your journey and that can probably help somebody out there?
What I'd like to tell them is, no matter the circumstances, the difficulties, no matter the struggles, I've come to understand one thing in life, and it is true for every human being on this earth. You have in you something divine. You have in you something great. You know what? The gift that you have, it might be singing, it might be speaking in public, it might be whatever it might be, all the ideas that you have is the divine in you shining. So let it shine. Believe in your talents. Believe in who you are. I'm one of the persons that believe in me the most. I think there is nobody else on earth that believes in me the way I believe in myself. You know, when I wanted to release the album, I didn't receive any prophecy. There is no prophet that came to me and said, well, I dreamt of this, or God told me you should think of releasing an album or whatever. Nobody said that to me. And to every people I went to, telling them that I have songs and I want to sing them, they were telling me, oh no, don't do that. We don't think you'll be able to do an amazing job. But today, when I see all the results and how many people's lives are blessed, I said, I'm saying to myself, fortunately, I believed in me. I believed in the gift that I have, and that's how you are blessed. I believe by what I do through my music. So I want you to believe in you. Even if nobody believes in you, even if no one thinks you can make it, let me tell you, if you think you can make it, that's enough. So believe in you, believe in God, and move forward.
Oh, wow. Exactly. That is so true. You have to be able to believe in ourselves. Pastor Lord, I personally want to thank you. Like I said, I am very humbled to have you here in our midst. It is, I know you're a busy man, US, Canada, Dallas. Usually when you come here, you tell me you come here to rest, but I had to.
Never rest.
Yeah, you never rest. There's always something going on. I had to sneak in this interview. I had to hear how is Pastor Lord doing these amazing jobs. We are proud of you. I would like to thank you for the young Christians out there. I wouldn't even just say Congo, but being that we are from Congo, Congo is very proud of you. But the young Christians out there, us, the body of Christ, we are very proud of what you're doing. You are honestly a true example for a lot of men out there. And I want to thank you for doing that. And hopefully in the years to come, or in the months to come, I will see you again here on In Between. And thank you for sharing this time with me. I was very blessed to have you here. And as I can tell everybody, you've all heard it here first. Here with Pastor Lord Lombo, who talked about the journey that he's been through. We wanted to dig in a little bit more, but we didn't have enough time because he's a busy man. Actually, as we're speaking, he has a conference tonight here in Dallas, Texas, and many more around in the U.S. So thank you guys for spending time with us here on In Between. I am your host, Kipasa. Until next time, hopefully we'll see you guys here again. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.